800-951-0592. Joe and Jason on another one of these Fridays. The last 3 Fridays, we've seen gold get whacked, and now this Friday, gold's back above $2,000. We've got what appears to be another bank going under, First Republic. The CNBC now saying that the plan to try to share the losses was just not tenable, and looks like First Republic will now be taken over by the FDIC. We've been running $10 liberties. By the way, the $5 liberties we had on sale, those are over. $10 liberties. This is going to be the final day, especially who knows. I think I'm expecting some fireworks come Monday. But I've got them at $1,190 for one more day here. Pick these up. This is the best price you're gonna see on private. This is the most private way to own pre-1933 $10 liberties. $1,190 at 800-951-0592. In other news, there was other news today. The Fed's favorite PCE deflator, right, came in at 0.3%. And again, that was hotter than they wanted it to be on the inflation side. And then another country, man, it's picking up here, announcing that they will start trading with renminbis with China. Argentina now has joined the list, saying that all trade with China will be conducted in the renminbi. And Jason, this, again, a lot more pressure on the dollar here. And I think these bank crises don't help. This doesn't help. Listen, it's a good thing. If you're buying gold and buying silver, right, this is probably a good thing. But universally, Jason, this is not a good thing. We've got $40 trillion of debt. We're blowing up here. Tax receipts, well, I didn't even talk about tax receipts are down 29%. We're going to have a deficit, somewhere around 2.5 to $3 trillion again. We got a debt ceiling problem. And now we've got seemingly every week another 2-3 countries say, hey, guess what? We're going to trade in renminbis instead of dollars.
That's correct. That's going to continue to happen. And I think it's not going to happen all at once. And they've never done that all at once. Well, I guess unless a country completely fails. But I think you'll just see that continue to move in that direction. And then, Joe, you were talking about, man, I got so much floating around my brain today, and I don't know which direction to go. I was going to talk about one of the things you just said, very, very important, but I'll get back to it when I lots of distractions here. Let's just say this. I got a lot of distractions. I did want to say one thing about the silver and gold market, though, Joe. Something that has been I wanted to bring to the air today, which is we're not the only guys that sell silver and gold. There's lots of guys out there. And there's some big companies, big internet companies, and if you've shopped around, you've probably seen these guys on the internet. And Joe, I'm sure you've seen this, or maybe you haven't seen this. I don't know, but buying minimums at these big companies. Joe told me about the years where they had some limitations because selling around 2011. Joe, you talked about how you only took orders at a certain level. They're setting the limits that you have to order 500 even to put an order in. The reason they do this is because there's so many orders coming in. Their staff is overwhelmed, and Joe and we have nowhere near the staff of some of these big companies, and we don't have the buying minimums. But these companies on the internet, they'll let you come in there and buy like 3 Silver Eagles and just buy little bits here and there just because they want every customer. Well, they're not doing that anymore. You have to have $500, which that's not a huge minimum, but it's a minimum because Joe, I have a feeling if this keeps on going, they'll be bumping that to 2,000, and that is how much buying is going on. And when guys come into my office, I have some extra silver sitting there. I'll sell you a couple here and there and everything. We don't have any minimums now. And I'm going to try as hard as I can never to have a minimum. But if we get overwhelmed, we get overwhelmed. And these big companies are getting overwhelmed, Joe.
There's been a huge, huge demand. And again, I just be protected. Be smart here. You can't be lazy and say, well, it's not going to happen to me. It's not going to happen at my bank. And I'll just say that, you got to take as much precaution as possible. It's never going to be perfect. Especially if you're a business, and especially a bigger business, Patriot listen, I'm over the limit. And there's not a lot I can do about it, right? Opening more accounts won't really help that problem. But again, we do our best to stay as close to the limit as possible, right? We wire money out as fast as we get it in to our wholesalers, because I'd rather have it in their bank than my bank. But again, don't be lazy. I think that's the biggest thing. You have to take action, and you can't sit and wait anymore. If you're new, you've listened for a while, or maybe your friends have told you, hey, I need to buy gold, just call up 800-951-0592. Here's all you have to say: I want the special. That's it. The $10 Liberties, $1,190. And you know what the girls are going to ask you? How many would you like? You want one, you want 10, you want 100, right? Whatever it is. And it's just that simple, right? We'll take your name, obviously, your address, so we know where to ship it. If you want to pick up, we have offices in Arizona, in Phoenix, and the Deer Valley Air Park. We have 2 locations in Colorado now, one in Johnstown, one in Fort Lupton. But how it works when you place an order, right? We give you a trade number. You're locked in. I'm locked in. First Republic could be taken over in the next 10 minutes, and gold could go up $100. You don't pay more. Once you're locked in, you're locked in. You can pay for it with a check. That's, people ask, what's the most private way to do it anymore? Personal check's now the most private way to pay for things. Unless you have cash under your mattress, going to the bank and pulling cash out, that's not private anymore, right? They track all that stuff. But the thing that is personal check, a bank wire. If you want to pay cash, you can pay cash. We take Visa, MasterCard, Amex, American Express, Discover. We take all 4 cards. And it's just that simple. If you're picking up, you will call you when your order's ready. We'll make an appointment with you. We do things by appointment. We're not a coin store, right? We don't want that business. No offense, but there's certain elements when you have coin stores that we'd rather not deal with. So everything's by appointment. If we ship it to you, and we ship anywhere in U.S. territories, it's a flat $35. It's so easy. 800-951-0592. Jason and I, we're coming right back. (800-951-0592). Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason. Gold at 2002. Silver 2505 right now. First Republic dominating the news now. Their stock down 50% now, $3 and falling, as looks like FDIC receivership is coming. The FDIC was asking for potential bids now. So here we go. Remember, they did this with Signature Bank. They did this with Silicon Valley Bank. I wonder how long it will take, because it sounds like this is a pretty ugly situation. Again, the FDIC at the end of December had $128 billion. We now, with the losses from Signature and Silicon Valley Bank, we suspect they're down to maybe 90-some billion dollars. This one here looks like the loss is going to be pretty significant, because these banks have backed away from sharing losses. I've seen reports of 30 billion plus. And again, I don't know what happens, if the FDIC all of a sudden doesn't have any money left either. And especially with the debt limit, it's not like they can just go to the Treasury and say, "Hey, Janet Yellen, can you give us a quick $100 billion?" Right? I mean, we right now we're at the debt ceiling, so this is one of these other problems that we have. But now looks like this is going to happen. FDIC is now asking for bids on First Republic Bank, and saying that the regulators are seizing it now, according to David Faber. So CNBC now saying First Republic is going to be in receivership, that the FDIC is going to be asking for bids. There still is hope. I want to note this. There still is hope for a solution that does not include receivership. But David Faber at CNBC is reporting that they are engaged in discussions with multiple parties about strategic options. The bank is still open. So it again, unlike Silicon Valley Bank, the banks by this time were closed. I'm imagining if people have money at First Republic, they're probably lining up at these banks, Jason, trying to get access.
You think it's possible, Joe, that these banking issues, the way they're rolling out, is a purposeful event, meaning we're going to have a digital currency? The way that we've been watching things unfolding, I get this feeling, Joe, and you tell me if this is you think it's possible, but maybe by this summer, banks aren't going to let people pull cash out at all, because the banks keep supposedly helping each other out. I'm going to give you $5 billion, and I'm going to give you $5 billion. This lessens their ability to do business. And we all know that if they take the deposits out of the system, if it's cash, that's something the banks can't trade back and forth. When you pull cash out of the bank, that's something you can go do business with, out of the digital system. And are we getting to a liquidity issue to where, hey, for everybody's sake, nobody's going to be pulling cash out for X number of months or weeks at whatever banks, or maybe all of them? Is that possible? Do you see maybe later this year, if this banking crisis gets worse, nobody's going to pull cash out? No cash. You can just use, you have to use a debit card. You have to write checks. You have to keep it in the system, Joe.
It's going to be interesting. We know that these banks, when they get into trouble, start to limit the amount of money you can take out of the bank. Forget about cash. What's more worrisome is, hey, I want you to wire $250,000 to a different bank, and they tell you, well, can't do that today. Sorry, we'll let you do 25,000. Right? That's a concern. And you're right about cash. The big problem here, remember, this is different. This is not 08, right? 08 was, we had a bunch of credit default swaps on houses that were empty, that people weren't paying on, right? That was bad debt, right? Because nobody was paying. This is a different problem. This is a deposit problem. Because these banks, right, they lend out 94 cents of every dollar that's put in there. And when they get forced, when money starts leaving their banks, they don't have the money liquid. It's not sitting there. They got to go and sell some of the stuff that they've invested in. And the problem is, a lot of this, because of the Fed's doing, loses money. Right? The treasuries that they were forced to buy lose money. But here's the problem with some of these banks, Jason, is the money that wasn't treasuries, the monies that weren't commercial real estate. They took big risks, right? Maybe it was subprime auto lending. Maybe it was subprime credit card lending, right? We know, listen, repos are up, foreclosures are up, right? All of these things continue to start rising here. And now, when they go to sell, nobody wants to buy it. There's stuff that people are like, I'm not bidding on that, right? I don't even want it for 50 cents on the dollar. So you're right. The fact of the matter is, they're desperate to keep this money in the bank.
Because during 2020, the COVID emergency, remember all the there's no coins. There's no coins available, and people had to just learn how to deal without coins. The funny thing is when I looked at the little stickers they put on the windows, it says the Federal Reserve is saying that there's a coin shortage problem. And that's the 1% of the actual physical cash that's out there that the Fed has nothing to do with. That's the U.S. Mint. And the Fed is saying, well, we have a coin shortage. What does the Fed have to do with a coin shortage? Except for if they just don't want people to use coins. And now it looks like maybe this summer with this banking situation, you're not going to pull cash out for a few months. We're having an issue here. But that's okay. You got your card.
800-951-0592. Final segment coming up. 800-951-0592. Joe and Jason wrapping up the week. Wasn't quite expecting it to be like this week, were we? And of course, we've got the Fed meeting on Wednesday, right? And again, all signs pointing to, hey, we're going to go one more time. This is putting more stress on the banks. I hate to say it, but you got to bring this up. Student loan repayments restart, at least on the government ones, right? Those are restarting. That's more money coming out of consumer wallets, right? They've got to start making those payments again. Why do I get the feeling there's going to be a lot of missed payments there as well? U.S. $10 liberties today, 1,190 at 800-951-0592 in old pre-1933 gold, which is what we recommend. Why? Because it's the most private way to own gold. You can buy it, sell it, trade it in any amount. Not have to give out your social security number, not have to worry about 1099. You're on your honor. On the bullion products, right? Anything over 10 grand, right? I got a form you got to fill out. If you want, a great way to avoid that. $10 U.S. liberties at $1,190 at 800-951-0592. When you call that number, the girls answer. Just tell them I want the special, and then tell them how many you want. Jason, it's just that simple.
Yeah, it's a great way to go. Great way to go. It's a good company if you're fortunate enough, especially to be in the Arizona and Colorado areas to buy from us and come in and meet with us. But if you're listening on the internet anywhere out there to this show, you can just call that number. It's funny how many times Joe and I say the number on the air every single day, 800-951-0592. Call the number, especially during business hours, and we'll answer the questions. There's the metals program. There's the specials every day. Lots for us to help you out. The website, allamericangold.com. Lots of stories, good content. People are like, why do you learn all this stuff? Well, there's always a bunch of stuff it's up to date, new information right there at the website. So, Joe, call that number, right? Call that number. Get some gold and silver.
Yeah, call the number. It really is. People always think, oh gosh, but is it complicated? Is it hard? It's probably one of the easier things to do. It's much harder to set up an E-Trade account than it is to buy gold, Jason.
No robot answering the phone, pretending it's a real person. You get those calls, and I can't believe the calls they call. It's like I actually ask, is this a real person? You get a pause. Yes, this is a real person. Now, please do business with me. No AI robot on the other end of the phone. You'll get one of our actual people that will answer the phone, Joe.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. We have real people answering the phones. They'll answer any of your questions, whatever it may be. We've got great staff here. Bernice up in Colorado, my girls down here in Arizona. They're going to help you. They're not going to, and again, we don't do it. There's no bait and switch. We don't call. We don't make outbound phone calls. We're not going to pressure you into doing anything. But it's time. Listen, this is, and I hate to say it. I don't want it to be, but it is. This is early yet. GDP was 1.1% last quarter. It's going lower. The money supply keeps shrinking. The rates are still being raised. These banks are wobbling under this. And First Republic, the latest victim. 800-951-0592. Jason and I are coming right back with the Half Empty Cup.